you there. We were just quizzing each other on grammar, specifically verbs.
Don't you just love verbs?
Yes, I do. My favorite part is verb form. In fact, there are 4. Base form, present participle, when a verb has ing after it, past tense form, and past participle.
Wow. For a regular verb, you just add D or ED to the base form of the verb when it's past tense or past participle. Like for a smile, you just add D for both past tense and participle.
Irregular verbs are slightly different.
Which is why they call them irregular.
For example, cost uses base form for past tense and past participle.
Fascinating.
Run, however, stays the same for only the past participle. For past tense, the verb changes to ran.
I like the 3 types of tenses the best. They're simple, perfect, like me, and progressive. Simple tenses include present, past, and future. Past tense is when something has already happened. Here's an example of past tense. Justine washed her hands.
Present tense is something happening right now.
Justine is washing her hands. Future tense is something that is going to happen. Justine is going to wash her hands.
Tenses designate actions that were or will be completed before other actions or conditions. Before the appropriate verb, you must add a form of have before it. Present tense describes a continuing action. An example of this is Emily has finished studying for her English test.
Past perfect indicates an action occurring a certain time in the past.
In October, Mrs. Dolan had assigned the test for November. Oh, it says in October.
It's still recording.
Oh. Future perfect tense indicates that an action will be finished by a certain amount of time. Here's an example. By Tuesday, Emily will have received an F- on her test. Progressive tenses express continuing action. Present progressive shows that something is happening right at that moment. For example, Emily is running outside.
Past progressive indicates 2 kinds of past action. Here's a sample.
Emily's shoelaces were coming undone as she ran. Oh, shoot. There, much better. Or, Emily's legs were starting to tire. Future progressive tense indicates a continuing action in the future, like Emily will have stretched her legs.
Present perfect tense is when the past changes to present within the sentence. Here's an example. Justine has been watching Netflix around the clock.
Past perfect progressive tense indicates that a past action went on until another one occurred. An example is:
Before Justine washed her hands, she had been watching Netflix for 7 hours. Future perfect progressive indicates that an action will continue until a certain period of time. By 1 a.m., Justine will have realized that ignoring her homework to wash the office was a big mistake.
Hey Justine, why do we use verb tenses?
Good question, Amelia. We use different verb tenses in sentences to indicate that actions are taking place at different times. Like, when a verb appears in a dependent clause, its tense depends on the tense of the main verb in the independent clause.
School had ended by the time Emily pulled into the parking lot.
Wouldn't it be great if we got to school on time?
As it states in the good old book, when an infinitive appears in a verbal phrase, the tense it expresses depends on the tense in the sentence's main verb. Justine went to see Emily run.
And with participles, its tense depends on the tense of the sentence's main verb.
Having failed her English test, Emily asked Justine for help.
Why ever so sassy?
I don't know, it's just my mood. Speaking of mood, mood in the text is the form of a verb takes to indicate whether a writer is giving a command. This is called imperative mood.
Oh, no. Rake the leaves, Emily. Rake the leaves.
Now,
We're going to do indicative mood, which is making a statement or asking a question.
Emily rakes the leaves.
or there is subjunctive mood, which expresses a wish or a contrary to fact statement.
Present subjunctive uses the base form of the verb no matter what the subject is.
Justine locked Emily outside so she will freeze.
Wow. Anyway, past subjunctive is when the verb is in past tense. If I were you, I'd let me in right now. If I were you, I'd let me in right now.
When using subjunctive voice, the present subjunctive may be used in that clause after the words ask, require, demand, recommend, and insist.
Past subjunctive may be used in conditional statements, which is when a sentence begins with the word if, and are contrary to the fact or expressing a wish.
The final part of this chapter that everyone must know if they wish to be classy, like us, is voice. Voice is the form a verb takes to indicate whether its subject acts or is acted upon.
When the subject of the verb is doing the action, the sentence is an active voice.
Emily received an A on her English final.
When the subject of the verb is receiving the action, the sentence is in passive voice. So we can change the first sentence to,
On the English final, an A was received by Emily.
Well, that's all we have for you this week on Grammar with Amelia and Justine.
Join us next week when we go over the new MLA format.
Cheers!